Redmond, you currently owe more than $10,000 in child support for the defendant's 2 teenage daughters, LaQuandria Redmond and Kaisha Redmond, who you say are not yours. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Patterson, you say you are 100% certain that both girls are his daughters, and you cannot wait to prove the truth today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Redmond, why is it taking you so long to get this issue resolved?
Your Honor, over 19 years, I've been taking care of these kids, and Your Honor, I've been going to jail, and I know for a fact that these kids aren't mine.
You say you know for a fact you've gone to jail?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor. I've gone to jail because I owe more than $10,000.
What is that, sir?
This is some from the courts where I owe over $10,000 in child support paper.
Let me see that paperwork, Drew. So, you all are married.
No, ma'am.
You're not married.
Divorced.
Divorced now.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is $16,198 in child support that you owe currently.
Yes, Your Honor.
For child support.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you believe that neither child is your child?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Patterson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your ex-husband says that he don't think either child is his. You don't believe that. You say they are his children.
They are his, ma'am. I never cheated on
And
him.
She's untrustworthy, Your Honor. I've caught her cheating on me numerous amount of times.
So wait, you submitted evidence to the court.
Yes, Your Honor.
Step forward so I can have you explain this evidence you have in the monitor.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, as you can plainly see, her and her friend was in the bathroom, and he had his pants down.
That is a lie.
When I walked into the bathroom, Your Honor, his pants was down, and he quickly tried to pull them up, and she stood up.
That is a lie.
What?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is a
This is
lie.
when you all were dating?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh. You're saying that's not true?
That's not true.
So what's
Mr.
this
Redmond
next
is
picture?
lying.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a picture of me coming home from work, Your Honor. This was when we was married. Your Honor, I rode a bicycle in the cold to go to work. Your Honor, when I got home, it was a tall, dark-skinned man walking out of my apartment.
That is not true, Your
Ms.
Honor.
Patterson, do you know anyone that looks like that?
No, Your Honor, I really don't. In his mind, I was with everybody.
So you're saying he just constantly accuses you?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, Your Honor, I placed a secret tape recorder in the air vent at my apartment after I caught the dark-skinned fellow coming out of my apartment. The trust was gone. So I put the tape recorder inside the air vent.
So that's your tape recorder. You put it in the air vent.
Yes, ma'am.
So you could record what was going on in your house?
In the bedroom. Yes, sure. I heard moaning and groaning. I heard a man's voice in my room, in my bedroom, where no other man should be at. And we didn't have a television in that bedroom, Your Honor.
Ms. Patterson, do you remember any of this?
I remember the tape recording. Nothing was on it. He played it. The only thing you could hear was, statically. It was just background noise. That was it. No moaning and no groaning.
All right.
I ain't had nothing to moan and groan with. I mean, he was my husband. That was my husband. I never cheated on him. Never.
All right, Mr. Redmond, you have one more picture. What is this?
I went to Miss Patterson's workplace. But at this point in time, at her job, the front people told me where she was at, how to find her location. I went back there to find the location that they told me to go to.
Okay.
I observed Miss Patterson in the bed with another man on top of the man.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Wait, so this is you observing?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you confront her?
I didn't confront her, Your Honor. I was so hurt and discouraged. I walked away, got in my car, and left.
Well, what kind of work was she doing in this room?
She was a housekeeper.
Oh. You were a housekeeper, Miss Patterson?
Yes, that's when we first met. I was a housekeeper, Your Honor.
And so, have you had intimate relationships in the room where you were supposed to be working?
That was against the rules. I would have lost my job. Your Honor, I don't know what he's talking about.
So, Mr. Redmond, you really believe she cheated? All of these instances add up to you in your mind that she cheated?
Yes, Your Honor. I have one more incident, if you mind me telling you. Yes,
Okay. You can step back to the podium now. I'll hear it from over there. So you said you had one more piece of evidence as to why you believe LaQuandria is not your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell the court.
When we was in her hometown, I creeped up on her at her family's house. When I got there, Your Honor, I went round the back where they usually be, and I observed Miss Patterson drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, sitting on another man's lap.
You thought maybe he could be her father because she was having a relationship with him as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you sitting on another man's lap, Miss Patterson?
No, Your Honor, I was not.
Why do you think he is just making all of this up?
Your Honor, I don't know. To tell you the truth, this is what I used to go through when we was married. So this is basically why the marriage had ended.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. All right, so let's get to the second pregnancy because you all managed to stay married long enough to get pregnant again.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why do you feel Kaisha is not your child? That's what I want to
Because, Your
understand.
Honor, I was so furious with Miss Patterson when we left her hometown. I slept on the couch. I wouldn't even sleep in the bed with her.
So you were not sleeping together.
We were not,
That's
Your
why
Honor.
you feel like you're not
Yes,
Kaisha's
ma'am.
biological
That's not
father.
true, Your Honor. That's not. The reason why he ain't sleeping in the bed, he was never at home. He'll come home when it's time for me to go to work. So
Why
how
would
you
I come home to a woman that's cheating on me?
sleep? How you gonna sleep in the bed and you too much in the streets?
Because I didn't want to look in your face.
You wouldn't work. You wouldn't keep a
I
job.
would work if you knew how to
And
take
you
care
want-
of your own
and you
kids.
want me to
You
be
had
with
small
you?
kids, Your Honor. Someone had to be the responsible one to feed them and
How you
put
been
diapers
responsible
on
for
them.
feeding the kids? You wasn't home. You was
Your-
never home.
Your Honor, I taught my oldest daughter how to walk and potty trained them, Your Honor. I was the one who fixed the formula because she didn't know how.
So when did he really start denying the children?
When I left him. I left him in 2000.
Were you also there for the entire birth while you had this doubt? Were you there for all of the appointments, the birth, everything?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so at that time, Ms. Patterson, did you believe he doubts my children, or were you thinking that you all were just a married couple having children?
Yes, Your Honor.
Which one?
That we was married and, had kids.
Do you remember him expressing doubt over paternity during the process?
No, Your Honor.
I've kept the children out thus
Your
far
Honor,
because...
May I say something, Your Honor?
No. I kept the children out thus far because I did not want them to hear this testimony and even be more confused like I am, but I would like to hear from them now. Jerome, will you please escort LaQuandria and Kaisha into the courtroom?
Yes.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Please state your name for the court. You first.
Kaisha Redmond.
Kaisha. And your name?
LaQuandria Redmond.
All right. So we are here today discussing some paternity issues that are affecting your family, okay? And I wanted to hear from you because the gentleman on the plaintiff's podium, Mr. Redmond, you believe he is your father, right?
I mean, yes.
That's what you've been told.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and he's here today suggesting that perhaps he is not your biological father. What kind of relationship have you had with Mr. Redmond?
Nothing at all.
Really?
Yes.
And you've been told this is your father?
Yes, I have been told that he was my father, but this is my father right here because she has been here my whole entire life.
And so you have no relationship with Mr. Redmond?
Not at all.
How about you, Kaisha?
No. No, ma'am.
None at all?
No, ma'am.
Even as children, you all don't remember?
I remember.
I remember.
You remember him?
I remember him when I was always taken to go to his mother's house because he didn't have a house. He's always in and out of my life. He never done anything for me.
And that hurts you?
I mean, it did, but then I had to realize again that he's nothing to me.
And so I want to hear from you, Kaisha. How has this affected you? I see the tear. Has it hurt you growing up without a father?
When we was homeless and we had nothing, we called him and he never gave us nothing when we asked for money or anything. Nothing.
And this is a man you've grown up believing is your father.
Yeah, I really love him. I really do. Like, that's my twin. But now, as I grew up, I started to know that he ain't nothing. Nothing. His mom is too old to be raising a 40-year-old man.
Mr. Redmond, when you see them here in tears, how does that make you feel?
Well, actually, Your Honor, I don't recollect me not being there for these kids, and I feel like they're being untruth at the moment. I've been there for those kids. I never left those kids. My father has thrown them birthday parties. I have bought them gifts. I have done a lot for these kids, Your Honor.
Well, do you hear them say that they don't believe you've been there for them? They don't feel your presence in their life. They don't feel your protection.
First of all, Your Honor, the kids were kidnapped from me when they were in my custody. She came back and stole the kids from me. She kept them away from me so that I would not be able to have a relationship with these kids. Then I found out when
Why is you sitting here lying?
Be quiet.
My mama ain't never had kidnapped us. She the one that signed them birth certificates. You ain't signed nothing. You paid child support 1 or 2 times. You think that's gonna do something? It ain't gonna do nothing. You don't help my mama pay bills. You don't help us with anything. I have to come out my pocket and help pay rent. You don't do nothing. I have to get a second job just to help my mama in the house. You don't do anything. Is it because you ain't had no money to pay for no DNA test? Is that because?
Teacher.
LaQuandria.
Teacher.
Huh?
Teacher.
Mr. Redmond, she's speaking to you, crying out to you, really. Where are you? Where were you?
Your Honor.
You didn't even look over there. You didn't even look her way. How is it you can't even look this young woman in the eye? I mean, this is a young girl that could potentially be your biological child, and you're not even looking at her when she's speaking, when she's expressing the deepest part of herself and her emotions and how she feels. What is going on with you?
I mean, she's so disrespectful, Your Honor. I had to put up with the total disrespect of this young lady for a long time, Your Honor, for being called the B word, M and F and this, I don't care no more. Then I had to go to her
So
house.
do you believe that these are your biological children?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Everybody clap, please.
All right. You know what? I'm not gonna prolong this confusion because what I have is going to alleviate all of this mess because I have the truth. Jerome, the envelope, please. Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Redmond versus Patterson, when it comes to Kaisha Redmond, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Redmond, you are the father.
We both look alike.
That's your twin.
In the case of Redmond versus Patterson, when it comes to LaQuandria Redmond, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Redmond, you are the father.
Now you need to come over here and you need to apologize to these kids.
He don't need him.
He need to
He don't
apologize.
need
No,
him.
seriously,
He
he
never
needs to
did.
apologize.
I do apologize.
Thank you.
And I don't care.
I try to have a relationship with them, Your Honor, but they won't stay around. They say I'm too mean, I'm too strict, I'm too this, I'm too that.
Kaisha, is there something you'd like to say to your father?
We don't need you no more because we grew without you. Like, I'm sorry to say that. I really love you,
I love you too.
but I don't need you. I'm sorry. I'm too old. Like, I'm a young lady now, and like I start to realize I don't need you no more.
Well, whenever you feel like you do need me, I'll be there.
And I understand that I forgive you, but that's all I have. Like, I'm sorry.
This is where we begin. It doesn't have to be where we end. You have a myriad of possibilities in this moment. We can't solve all of this today. Mr. Fritz, you state that over the last 30 years, you have searched to find your biological daughter, who you claim was taken from you as a child. However, just 4 months ago, this 3-decade search came to an end when you found Ms. Agee, whom you believe to be your daughter, on Facebook. You're now petitioning the court to prove that you are indeed her biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
Ms. Agee, you say you know exactly who your biological father is and have come to court today to prove once and for all to Mr. Fritz that he is not your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Agee, why are you so adamant that Mr. Fritz is not your biological father?
Well, first off, Your Honor, he's not on my birth certificate. The guy that's on my birth certificate was not my biological father. He was married to my mother when I was born, but I do know who my biological father is. I was about 8 or 9 years old. I started asking questions about who my real father was, and my grandmother was the one who raised me. She told me my biological father was Buster. That's the only person she knew as my biological father. About 11 years old, I was sitting in the living room floor, watching cartoons. A knock come on the door. I went to the door, and it was Buster. At the time, I didn't know it was my father. He asked me, was that Angel? I was like, yes. He was like, is your grandmother at home? I said, yes, she's asleep right now. Later on that afternoon, he come by like 3 times. I had went swimming for the day. So the last time that I was at home, he come by, and I met him. I spent a couple hours with him. He told me he was my dad. You know, he was excited to see me. He was going to be in my life. Well, I didn't see him after that. I think I was 11 years old. He called, and he wanted to be in my life. And I was like, okay, you know, that's fine with me. I had a Christmas play the next day. And he said he was going to come and, you know, come to our Christmas play and, you know, want to be part of my life. I said, that's fine. He didn't show up. I was hurt. My biological father wasn't around. He wasn't in my life. So that hurt me.
And you always believed that that man was your biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you ever try to contact him again?
I did. I was 17 when I had my first child. I got married, and I was pregnant with my second child when I was 18. And I wanted to look for him because I was going to let him know that he has a daughter out here that, you know, have one grandbaby, and he's going to have another grandbaby. And I just wanted him to be a part of my my kid's life. I wanted a relationship with my dad. I wanted my kids to know their grandfather. You know, I wanted that in my life. We went to his house, his sister's house, talked with her. I got pictures of him, you know, but she said that if he's my dad, he will contact me. And I haven't heard from him since, and I'm 35.
He ain't
So,
contacted
Mr.
because I'm your
Fritz-
father. That's the reason he ain't
You
called.
say you're my dad, but if you're my dad, then you would have come looking for me. You say you come looking for me, but obviously you didn't come looking for me because I live in Thomasville, a little town that you can find me. You found me when I was already married under my married name. You didn't find me under my maiden name. My maiden name, you couldn't find me. I live in a small town. I can go in the middle of the town and scream out Danny Fritz, and they're going to hear me. You didn't come looking for me because if you did, you would have found me.
I looked for you for 30 years, Angel.
If you did, you would have found me.
Tell me about this 30-year search and why you strongly believe you are Miss Agee's biological father.
I got sentenced and incarcerated, and when I was being moved from one camp to another, I met a friend of mine. I said, hey, man, when you get back in town, would you run by and let Angel's family know that I've been transferred and where I was going to come see me. After 3 months, I escaped from the penitentiary to go see my daughter, and at 2 months old, I went and seen my daughter. And
I don't remember that. I don't remember any of
you might
that.
remember these pictures right here.
What are those pictures of, sir?
That's a picture of Angel sitting on my father's lap and a picture of her sitting with my mother and father when she was
May I see those pictures?
2 years
Joy?
old.
These are pictures of a baby that you say is Miss Agee sitting on your father's lap.
Yes, ma'am. Ask her if that's her. She
That is me.
picture.
That is me, but I don't have any recollection of this. I don't.
You acknowledge, Miss Agee, that that's you.
That's me. That's me.
When those pictures were taken, she's about 3 years old. She come down and stayed with me, and I was working. And
I don't recall that. I remember my grandmother. I remember staying
and
with my grandmother.
you may not
him.
remember it. Now, you know, it has been a long time. Actually, you stayed with me for 5 weeks, and they called up and says, we're going to go and visit one of your family members and wanted you to ride with. And I said, that's no problem. They come and picked you up. I came down there to get you.
That.
And when I came there, the trailer was empty. I went and knocked on all the neighbors' doors. Everyone says, we don't know. They moved. We don't know where they're at.
I'm telling you, if you wanted to find me, you could have found me.
Well, I tried and I couldn't find you.
When you say you tried, Mr. Fritz, how did you look for her?
Okay,
you
when I went,
knocked on the door and
I went down there to find her. When I got there, the trailer was empty where she lived at, okay? So I went to the neighbor's house. They said, yeah, they moved, but they didn't know where. I went to all the neighbors' houses, and no one knew where they had moved to.
If you want to find your daughter, you will not stop. I don't care what anybody says. If my kids are out there and I want to find my kids, I'm going to find them, regardless.
I didn't stop.
Regardless, I'm going to find them.
What was your next move?
Very next move, I went to the courthouse. I went to the courthouse, started searching records. I looked under her family's name. I looked under the name that I knew she was carrying, which was Dial. I looked under that name, and there was nothing in the court records. When I went up there and couldn't find you through your court records and stuff, I went back to the house. I regrouped. Every time I went to visit my family, and that where she lives at, when I went to find them, we would go and look for you.
I don't believe it. Because Thomasville's a little town. I'm telling you, people talk. People know people in Thomasville. I'm sorry. You're going to know. I don't need a dad now. I needed one then. When I was growing up, I needed a dad in my family.
Are you going to do all the talking?
I needed that.
Let me
I'm
talk.
telling you how I feel.
Well, let me tell you how I feel.
Take me back to the day you found her.
The day that I met her, I was sitting at the house. I was on Facebook, and I just started messing with it. I started looking at relatives, this name, this name, this name. Shauna Angel. That's the name that come up with the numbers of the people I was looking at. And I said, if this is Angel, I says, this is Danny Fritz, please contact me.
You contacted me on Facebook. We were talking.
Right.
I thought you was an old school friend because I didn't even know you were my dad.
Right.
I didn't recognize the name. And then I was shocked. I didn't know what to think because here you are. I'm 35 years old and you're telling me you're my dad? I'm not. What am I supposed to think?
Well, I'm here today to show you that I am your dad.
And I don't know how you got
and
my
from this
phone
point
number,
on,
but
I'm
you
going to do
called me.
anything at all that
And
you
I
want me to do to help you in your life and your children's life.
You say that, but
I think I've been showing you that, Angel.
no, you haven't.
All right, so Mr. Fritz, you see her and you find her. What has the relationship been like since then?
Well, it started out pretty good. You know, the first day that we talked, she told me she was stressed. I said, what's going on? And she says, my baby daughter is going out for cheerleading. I don't have enough money to get her a cheerleading outfit. I said, all right. She goes, I need $50. I said, let me call you back.
I didn't ask you for any
Let me
money.
see. No, you didn't. You didn't ask me
you.
for no money. I said, let me see what I can do. I said, I'll call you back. I talked to my wife. My wife said, look, that's your daughter, man. I said, all right, you're right. I sent her $50 for the cheerleading outfit. When I did go to Thomasville and met my grandchildren, and I said, that must be the cheerleader. Angel bowed her head, and she goes,
I didn't
no.
know such. I didn't know such.
I'm not cheerleading yet. It's going to be a year. But, you know, I spent $50. I sent her to her to get a cheerleading outfit.
And if you would have
she
talked
didn't
to
get.
me about it and you would have had contact with me after that, I could have told you what happened.
I got a phone that's got over
So,
200
Miss Agee,
text
I have
messages
to
all
ask
about
you
money.
because it's
That's a lot.
I have
I'll
to
tell
ask
you.
you, Miss
That's a
Agee.
lot.
Miss Agee,
Yes, Your Honor.
if you do not believe he's your biological father,
Yes, Your Honor.
why are you so angry at him?
I'm angry because he says he is my dad. If he is my dad, why wasn't you there? I needed a dad when I was younger. I'm 35 years old now. I've lived my life. I'm living my kid. You know, I'm with my kids now. I'm living my life for my kids. And then he wants to pop up 35 years later and say he's my dad?
The anger that you feel, it's almost counterintuitive. It's I know this man is not my father because I know who my father is.
But then I have a gentleman telling me that he is my father. If he's my dad, why wasn't he there? Why didn't he look for me hard enough to find me when a guy that's supposed to be my biological dad found me?
And do you understand that the circumstances that led to one man finding you there could be a separate set of circumstances that were presented to him in his search? Or maybe there were ways that he could have searched harder or deeper. Regardless of that, it doesn't change the fact that he got on Facebook
and
and
found me
tried
under a married name. I don't understand that.
it proves that he was still looking for you.
Right.
And then you stated in court, this man that you said found you, the one that you believe is your biological father, he then says to you, I'm gonna show up at your Christmas play, never showed.
Exactly, you're right. I've been hurt. I've been hurt by the guy that said he's
There
my dad.
we go.
I didn't have a mom in my life, and I didn't have a dad. My grandmother raised me. She passed away when I was 16. I've been on my own ever since, and I've made it in this world.
Are you just fearful to be hurt again? For another man to say, I'm your dad, you matter to me, and then the next thing you know, they're not there.
Exactly, you're right.
Okay.
That
I've
ain't
been hurt
gonna
enough
happen,
in my
man.
life, and I don't want to be hurt
You ain't gonna be
anymore.
by yourself no more. I'm gonna tell you that. And I love you, and you know that, Angel. Since the first day I got back with you and found you, I told you I would never hurt you, and I love you. And I'll tell you what, the love I got in my heart never gonna go away, and you're never gonna be alone. I'm here to help you. I'm here to be your daddy.
But you're putting out there that I asked you for money. I didn't ask you for no money. I told you what was going on. And if you would have contacted me and asked me questions, I would have told you what went on.
But Miss Agee, you don't
did.
have to ask your father or a man that believes he's your father for the money. He heard you had a need, and
But he's
his
making a big
belief
deal
that
about it.
he's
If he
your...
would've
I'm not making a
asked me-
big
No,
deal
he
out of
wasn't
it.
making a big deal about it. What he was trying to show is, as much as I may have not been there for her, for whatever the circumstances, his point was just to say, I'm there. I was trying to give of myself. Mr. Fritz, your compassion towards Miss Agee it's remarkable, it's refreshing. And I have to say, whether you are or you are not her biological father, I can see that this relationship means everything to you.
It does, Your Honor.
Do you have any other children?
No, ma'am.
So the stakes, they're very high.
I really honestly do believe, and I gave us a lot of thought since I found you. I'm thinking that God knew I wasn't ready. God was there. God says, well, you know, you're still in this motorcycle club, and you're still doing this, that, and the other. There's no sense in God bringing you and me together, because the only thing I'm going to do is hurt you. When I got out of the motorcycle club and I started getting more prayer in, God brought me to the Facebook page that found you.
Wow.
And it breaks my heart to see you over.
I'm just mad. I'm hurt. I'm mad and I'm hurt.
You could
I
be
don't know
mad at
what
me
to
all you want
believe.
to, and I want you to be. I want you to get it all out of your system, because when it's gone, then it's going to be filled with love.
Exactly.
We're going to change that
Mr.
hate
Fritz,
to love.
you have to understand that there, of course, is a lot on the line for you because you want to know the answer. And yet it's different for Ms. Agee.
Yes, ma'am.
Because in your heart and your mind, you believe it and you know it for certain.
Absolutely.
In her mind and heart, she was told another man was her father. He let her down. She's got to put herself out there again. And there is a risk here for her that she's setting herself up to be let down
She
again,
won't be let
to be
down.
hurt again.
Exactly.
She won't be let down. I don't care what that piece of paper says. She's not going to be let down. I'm going to be here until the day they put me in the ground. I'm going to do whatever I can to help her.
And
even
while you
years or
don't
not.
care what the paper says, when I look into her eyes and I hear her testimony, she admitted, I have fear. I have fear. I
That's
do not
understandable.
want to go through this again.
That's understandable. I can understand. I
Like
know
I
that.
said, I've been hurt my whole life.
I'm not going to hurt you.
You
baby.
wasn't there.
Ms. Agee, on one hand, you say, I had my grandmother. She raised me. She gave me all I need. I don't need him for anything. I don't want to be hurt
I didn't have a
again.
dad growing up. I didn't have a mom growing up. I had a grandmother that was my mom.
An amazing
Yes.
grandmother.
Yes.
So on the
Very-
one hand, I
Yep.
hear you say this. On the other hand, I hear you say, I didn't have a father. And I
Exactly.
want my children to have the knowledge of who their grandfather is
Yes.
and the love. Both of those things are kind of on opposite sides of a
Exactly.
coin. And I understand that you're conflicted.
Because I
so
want
I
a
have
father.
to ask you, do you want me to read you these results?
I
Because
do.
I have them.
I do, because I definitely want to know where I came from. I want to know who my dad is. And if he is my dad, I want him to walk me down the aisle when I get married.
And you have prepared yourself either way.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I'll walk you anywhere you want. to go,
Jerome,
Angel.
I'm ready
I'll
for
take
the
care of you.
envelope.
I love you with all my heart. And I know that paper's going to say I'm your daddy.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows.
Lord, please be with us now.
In the case of Fritz versus Agee, pertaining to 35-year-old Shauna Agee.
Come on.
As to whether Mr. Russell Fritz is her biological father, it has been determined by this court.
I am her
Mr.
daddy.
Fritz, you are her father.
Yes!
That's what I'm talking about. I love you so much, baby. I'm so sorry.
You can't be that mean and not be my youngin'.
I love you so much, baby girl.
This is just so beautiful.
That's beautiful right there, man. You just made my whole life.
Oh, now I'm gonna cry. Oh, it's just too good, isn't it, Jerome? It's just too good.
Oh,
I don't even want to adjourn court. I just want to sit here and watch them hug.
Thank you, Jesus.
Absolutely.
This moment is why we exist, to provide this moment.
Hallelujah.
And honestly, I
I have a dad now for 35 years. I have a dad.
Oh,
You
my God.
do. You do.
It sounds weird saying that, but I have a dad.
Mr. Wilson, you've opened your case today to prove that Ms. Dean's 17-month-old daughter, Jakaya, is not your biological child. You say you moved her into your home, laid out the red carpet, only to find out she was rolling around with other men in your home. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Dean, you say Mr. Wilson has turned his back on your daughter and he welcomed her into the world and signed her birth certificate. You claim Mr. Wilson is her father and his denial is hurting you and your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Wilson, why don't you believe that you're the father of Ms. Dean's daughter, Jakaya?
Your Honor, I don't believe I'm the father because I have been fooled by multiple females in the past.
Oh.
What do you mean you planned this?
And I have been going down this rodeo for far too long. I signed on a birth certificate. I'm not there physically. I just can't handle it because she just no consistency. I just want the answers today so I can just have closure.
So, Mr. Wilson, you saying you've been fooled once, you've been fooled twice, but you're not gonna be fooled again.
Correct, Your Honor.
And Ms. Dean, you say this is unnecessary.
It
that
really
this chi-
is.
Go ahead, explain.
It really is. He's being not only belligerent and lying, him and his family is lying because not only did we plan this baby, we had concessions. I had my period.
You had concessions?
You know, we was literally getting down, doing things besides just.
Oh, that's a concession.
Yeah, a concession.
Okay.
So when I
Wait.
say we having a concession, I mean everything
Oh,
over and above.
Okay, so hold on, Mr. Wilson, I need you to talk to me about these concessions
Yeah.
that you were having.
Yeah, let's talk about the sessions we had.
She was on my Facebook page, liking my comments.
Sure
and
was. You
my
was my
pictures.
boo. Sure did.
And she hit me up like, what you up to, and this, that, and the other. At the time, I was taking care of my stepfather, had my own house, car, working, things of that nature. And because I had previous relationships with her in the past, I was single, she was single, we decided to meet up. And we met up and we actually planned the baby. The baby was just not a coincidence. I asked
So now
her,
you
could she
denied
have
her,
a
though?
baby for me?
That you planned.
Because she knew what I've been through in the past with not having kids and how desperately I wanted to have a kid. And she had me under the impression that she was willing to go through with it with me.
And I did.
And
you don't see the baby?
Then, you know, I see the baby, but I don't see me in the baby. I see the ex in the baby. She posted a Facebook picture of the baby with him, and it looks like his baby, not mine.
Who is with him? Ain't
Oh, so hold on, I don't want to jump ahead.
Excuse me, Your
So,
Honor.
no. I want to understand what you're saying. So you actually say, I wanted to have this baby together.
Yes.
And so where did everything go wrong?
Her
If you
story was
planned
not
it-
consistent, the word she used. Yeah.
Okay.
It was not consistent as her storytelling.
Why
As
wasn't
the
it?
truth kept coming about, the lies kept adding up to it.
All
He
right,
is
so
lying,
take me
Your Honor,
to
to you
finding...
in your face.
Wait,
We
hold
had-
on. Miss Dean, when you found out you were pregnant, take me to that day.
I had my period in February. We conceived in March. You feel me?
When you found out you were pregnant...
I called him. He was acting like he was happier than two jaybirds.
All right, so you called Mr. Wilson and he was happy.
Yes, and then when the baby came out, you couldn't tell him that that wasn't his kid at all.
Okay. So tell me, Mr. Wilson, you've been informed of the pregnancy. Were you there at the birth? What happens when Jakiah was
Nope.
born? Stop talking, Miss Dean. I asked Mr. Wilson a question.
I had to be there at the birth, Your Honor, because I cut the umbilical cord for her to have the baby. So I had to be there.
So you were there at the birth?
Yes, I was.
Did you go to doctor's appointments for the baby
She
too?
never followed through with them.
All right, but at the birth, you came.
I came.
And you cut the umbilical cord?
I did 1, 2, 3.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
So you accepted this baby as your own?
I did.
And at that time when you did that, you believed you were the father?
Didn't have no doubts.
And you basically thought you all had brought the plan to fruition, that you had said together that we're gonna have a baby, and here's my baby that I've been wanting to have.
Correct.
All right, so you're a proud dad, this is a beautiful moment, and you're blessed.
Yes, ma'am.
So where does it go wrong?
Well, we're trying to build a relationship while she's pregnant. And in the mix of us building a relationship, she's getting bigger. She's whispering, I hear echoes. She's always in a different room of the apartment. And I'm like, why you never around the kids? Why? She's like, I can't talk now because my ex is here. And why is he there 11 o'clock at night if the kids got school in the morning?
And he knew exactly what was going on. And with that other guy, he just don't want to take responsibility and be a man and stand up. He came over to visit. He is lying. He came over to
30
visit.
days?
He lied. It wasn't no 30 days. How was it 30 days when we was having concessions all that time? He is lying, bro. Stop lying. You was making me upset. I apologize, but he is sitting here lying. Gennaro haven't helped me since day one. Ever since that baby came out, I provided everything. Gennaro was supposed to be living with me. I asked Gennaro to move in with me.
I wouldn't have moved with her
moved.
when I had a bigger home. Your
What do you
Honor. I had
mean?
a 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. She was in a 2-bedroom apartment and 1 bathroom in a 4 duplex that was not.
What do you mean? You proposed to me in that duplex. What are you talking about? You're on trial. I didn't ask you 3 days ago.
No.
That proposal meant nothing.
No.
You lying, baby.
No.
It's okay.
You on trial?
Yes.
Okay, just in case you didn't know.
I'm aware of that, Your Honor.
You are
I work at the
on
court. I'm
trial.
No, you don't.
And look, and if you have too many concessions,
Yeah, concession.
you're gonna end up on trial. Lord. So at some point, Mr. Wilson, was it something about the relationship between she and her ex that made you start feeling like
Yes.
Jakiah was not your biological
Yes,
child? What was it?
I didn't have doubt until
Insecure.
she's told me I didn't have sex with him. He's just laying on the couch. Okay, I went with that. When I ran into him at the bus stop, I said, this is coincidence. Now I can man up and ask him face to face. What's the story in his end? If it add up to what she's telling me, then I have no doubts. But he said the complete opposite of what she's given me. And I asked him, I said, is y'all having a child together? He's like, yeah. I said, what y'all supposed to be having? He said, a little girl. He went into details. So that fueled my doubts.
Wait a minute, this was before the baby was born?
Yes, before.
So why'd you sign the birth certificate?
I'm gonna tell you why. When the baby was born, it was so light and bright. I was like, he's so dark, she's dark. It's no way he's the father. I still didn't have doubts until she called me on FaceTime with him on the phone. And they both confirmed that I was.
And said
You
what?
was lying. I don't even
She
mess
was
with
like,
that man
bring me
like
back
that.
my baby, because I was like telling her I'm not, releasing her right now.
There you
She
go.
said, bring me back my baby. It's not your baby, it's his baby. Like the Byron.
I
And
said,
he was
Janera.
like, that's right, that's my baby. Bring back my baby. She said, yeah, I did it again. Bring me back my baby. I looked at the baby, Your Honor, and I said, it's a possibility this could be my baby, but it's in fact her baby. And until I know if it's my baby, I'm going to give her back her baby. I'm not going to hold the baby up,
not why you
not going to take it away from her mom.
He lying.
I'm giving it back to her.
That
And
ain't why
from
you
there,
did that.
I dropped the baby off at a couple of weeks, and I haven't seen the baby since.
And how long has it been?
The baby is like 17 months.
And how long has it been since you've seen her?
17 months.
Yeah.
He haven't did anything. And then he moved away, changed his number, blocked me. Same time, and then he
But
called-
you told him he's not the father.
I only told him that because he would not give back my child.
Why would he just have the baby?
He had the baby trying to take the baby so he can be with someone else. He used me, basically.
She watched too many Lifetime,
No,
Your Honor.
he used me, Your Honor. After I had that baby, Your Honor, he proposed to me, told me that we were gonna get married, moved in together. He lied, took the baby, tried to move away. Well, he had the baby in his care. He never took her because I gave her to him.
So, okay, so this is the point I'm getting at. Now, you look at this picture, it just looks like a little daddy kissing the baby.
It just came out the
Just
womb.
too new. Oh, so cute. But that looks like a daddy kissing his baby. You sign the birth certificate, then you go pick the baby
And
up.
he disappeared. Don't forget that.
With the baby?
Disappear.
With the baby?
Disappear.
So at some point you didn't know where he was with the baby?
I had no idea where he was.
How many days was he gone?
Months.
Approximately about a week and a
Okay,
half.
I want to
Oh,
understand.
I prosecuted
Hold on.
you're lying. You should ask your brother. You see how he put his head down? Shame.
All right, I want to
No
hear
shame
from you,
here.
Miss Faithful. Please
Ashamed
stand.
of making the baby with you,
I
supposedly.
guess.
State your name for the court
Janice Faithful.
and your relationship to Mr. Wilson is?
It's my brother.
That's your brother. All right, what do you know about this?
When this baby,
didn't answer
when
the
she,
question, did
when,
it?
when
Let
she
her
was
finish.
pregnant with this baby, yes, I asked my brother, why are you dealing with her again? She did this to you 9 years ago. Why are you getting yourself in a situation? We had just lost our father,
You know
so
who
he
my baby
grieved into this
was.
baby.
Girl, go.
Okay.
It was a grievance, and it was attachment instantly. Like, this is my baby. I think that she's attaching to him financially. It's not for looking for the father of this child. It's about what the baby can get from this man. She knew what she had done. When my brother had this baby, we were going to take it and do what we need to do for the baby. She came to my home, looking for
Lying.
my brother with her family, throwing things at my window.
That's 'cause
Bring
y'all
me back
took
my baby. That's
y'all
not
took
his
my baby and wouldn't tell me where y'all was at. That's where you
She
asked
told
me.
my family, I wasn't home at the moment, thank God, because if I was, I would probably have an altercation with her family by them popping up like that.
I see you.
But she said, I heard her family said, that's not his baby. Where that baby at? Where that baby at? That's not his baby. How he gonna take a baby that's not his?
Oh, through all of that, my understanding
smiling
is,
for?
let's
Debbie?
get some order. My understanding of this is somehow Jakaya ended up staying with Mr. Wilson for an extended amount of time. When they didn't bring her back during the time frame you approved of, Ms. Dean, you then went to the house. But in the process of you going to get your daughter, someone from your family said, this is not his baby anyway.
No. My family didn't have any contact. We have no contact. I don't even got Gennaro number now. He is lying.
But my point is, has it ever been stated that Jakaya
No.
is not his child?
No, it has
Yes,
not.
it has.
Not by me. No.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Faithful. You may be seated. Mr. Wilson, you say you have always wanted a baby, and I can see as you look at that picture, I can see how you just stare at it because you wanted to have a baby.
Yes.
And this baby was new life as you celebrated and had to say goodbye to your father.
Correct.
This meant something to you. Mm-hmm. Can you tell the court?
It was a chance for me to live again. It was giving me purpose because I was so attached to my father. I don't say stepfather, he was my father. And she knew all that, what I've been through, even in my past relationship. So I thought that she was willing to give me something that she kind of even regretted not giving me in the beginning of our relationship when we had history. And I didn't have no doubt that we planned this, it should have been that. But somebody was not committed and consistent, and it was not me. I'm more gut feeling. It's almost like mama's baby's daddy maybe.
Yes, it is.
And it's almost like
Son, you.
I'm more convinced she's not than she is. She didn't ask to be here. I asked, but the mother must have not been 100.
How? If I had, if I had got pregnant in
So
February.
I just want to know if the baby is not mine, I would like my name removed off this birth certificate.
Sure, no problem.
All right.
And if she is yours, I want.
Listen. We all know where we are now. And this is just a ball of confusion, negativity, and dysfunction. I don't even know how y'all got together, much less decide y'all was gonna make a baby together, but we're here now. And we need to get these results. Jerome, I'm ready. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Wilson versus Dean, when it comes to 17-month-old Jakiah Dean, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilson, you are not the father. Miss Faithful, stop.
Thank you, Jesus. I apologize for taking you through this, but I am gonna find out who her father is, and I am gonna.
You gotta find out?
No, when I say find
You gotta
out,
find
I'm
out?
gonna bring him on this courtroom like I did you at.
Oh, good
Okay.
luck.
Yeah. leave me alone.
Listen.
He might still be on the couch.
That's enough.
Boy, grow up.
That's enough. The real truth is you have literally downgraded and verbally abused Mr. Wilson over this baby that ultimately is not his. And the truth is, when I read the result, you weren't that surprised.
I was actually happy. 'Cause I don't gotta deal with neither one of them. Excited.
Likewise.
Well, listen,
Exactly.
listen, because you knew
No, I
that
didn't
there
know.
was a real possibility that it could be somebody else's. Hey, we say it all the time. You can stand up here and lie all day if you want. Everybody can lie. Plaintiffs, defendants, everybody can tell a lie. The DNA is not gonna lie.
I know.
When the DNA was read, you went through your thank you, like you was up accepting an award or something. It was like, oh, no.